That is the hardest part of that ring.
For the hardest part of the ring.
Hello and welcome to episode 118 of Hardest Part of the Ring, the podcast where four friends get together to celebrate the wonder of professional wrestling. My name is Adam and I am your host, and I'm joined by three wonderful co-hosts, the first of which goes by the name of Sam.
Blah, I'm spooky.
Was that spooky?
Start again?
I thought
let's just start again.
That's done.
I thought you were
That's
retching
in the
at my
bank.
weird
I was
intro.
Seth Rollins
I loved it.
at your intro.
John is also with us today.
Hello. I have to be honest, guys. I'm a bit disappointed you didn't do a guard of honour for me today.
Oh, for God's
Just
sake.
clapped me onto the pod or something.
We're going to talk about the quiz in a minute, and I was thinking maybe we won't mention who wins because people might not have heard it, but there you go. First thing you mention.
Now can we definitely start again? Because I want to leave. I'm off.
No, Sam, we've already started again 6 times because you weren't happy with your intro. For God's sake, get a grip. And Brett is here.
Hello.
What was that? It sounded like Paul Bearer, but
Paul
being
Bearer.
smothered.
Yeah,
That
that
was,
was the first half was not Paul Bearer. The second half was. It was decent.
it was like an owl kidnapped Paul Bearer.
Anyway, the guys are trying to be spooky because we are here, of course, to discuss the horror show at Extreme Rules 2020, which is the podcast that we're going to be putting on for you today. Last week, we had our Hardest Part of the Ring summer quiz for 2020, and yeah, you just heard who won.
Yeah,
But,
boys.
if you haven't gone back and listened, or if you haven't listened already, it's not a spoiler that John won. It's still a good quiz, and I think there's some great rounds there, and I'm not just saying that because I wrote it. I did have an idea, though, for how we might be able to improve it next time we do a quiz.
It's impossible. No improvements can be made.
I think maybe if we fact check some of the stuff, that would be good.
No, I was thinking perhaps what I'd do is have a bonus round at the end, and the only way that somebody can win is if they extract one of their own eyes. Is
Oh.
that good?
That'll really weed people out, won't it?
Yeah. If you just get nice and close to the mic and have a little popping sound. Although it appears that extracting an eye, all you have to do is actually wedge it
Onto
as
some
far
steps.
into your skull
Yeah.
as you can. Yeah, onto some steps. Anyway, we will get to all of that. How are you guys feeling before watching Extreme Rules? Were you hyped for it, Brett?
I had no idea what to expect because I'm not up to date. So I wasn't hyped, but I wasn't worried.
Okay. Sam, were you excited for this one?
Not particularly, no. I mean, I think there's been a lot of good wrestling recently, a hell of a lot of good wrestling, and this was a bit of the turd in the punch bowl. As what I expected it to be.
Ooh, okay. Nice. As always, we're going to have some differing opinions on Hardest Part of the Ring. What about you, John? Were you pumped?
I was pretty
before you watched
psyched
this?
for it because I thought the card...
John's always psyched.
Yeah, the card looked killer as well. Come on, the card was good.
You say that every time as well.
Was
Yeah.
it the best pay-per-view you've ever seen?
Well, we have to wait and see the scores, guys. You never know.
Hype man John.
I'm with John. For some reason, every time a WWE pay-per-view comes around, I think it's just the big lights and the bright colours. I just get excited. And I thought this one in particular looked really good. All of the colours and the lighting.
Oh,
and
all the LED monitors as columns looked awesome.
Yeah, and I quite like all the plexiglass, the fact you get the reflections of the big screen, and I like the purple and the green because it's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I've got Lex
yeah.
Luthor vibes, but yeah, I see.
Yeah, I was quite hyped for it. And I also like the fact that they're trying to spice things up a bit, not just sticking out these run-of-the-mill pay-per-views, which work a bit better when you've got a massive crowd, but doing something. I mean, cynics would probably say, oh, God, it's just they're trying to paper over cracks and it was an awful idea, but I was up for it.
Yeah, I think they've been very creative during this period.
I think it's like they got R-Truth to decide which pay-per-view we did next, and he decided to do a Halloween-themed one in the middle of July.
I would love it if R-Truth was a general manager of Raw. Can we not have that happen?
He might be.
Okay, then. Well, I think it's pretty clear that we're going to be, half of us were up for this and half of us maybe not so much, or just totally oblivious to what's going on in the world, Brett.
Yeah.
But let's get into more detail after this short break.
Falcon Arrow into the hardest part of the ring. Watch this. Where steel meets wood, the back of Rey Mysterio.
There's no steel on that part. There's no wood on that part. That is all steel.
The horror show at Extreme Rules 2020 took place at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, with an attendance, what do you reckon, about 20?
Yeah.
Oh, I like the idea of us just playing guess the attendance. That's quite good.
Yeah.
It probably was about that, wasn't it?
Baker's dozen, 13. It makes sense.
What? Why does it
Yeah.
make sense?
Because it's
the horror show.
Halloween-y. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Got you.
Nice. We had a comms team of Corey Graves, Michael Cole, Todd Phillips, Byron Saxton, and Samoa Joe.
Todd
That's
Phillips.
right, is it? Did I say Todd Phillips?
You did, or maybe you said Tom Phillips and I misheard you.
I think I might have said Todd, actually. I got all cocky with the running order and just wrote down everyone's surnames. And Samoa Joe written as Joe, because that's his surname, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Family name.
Great. Sam, what was the card?
All right, so pre-show, we had Kevin Owens versus Murphy.
I can't believe that was on the pre-show.
Brett?
The time I don't watch the pre-show, and it looks like it was a great match.
Yeah, sounds killer.
Kevin
Oh.
Owens pre-show.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not good, is it?
Well, that's a big letdown from pre-show Jones.
Yeah, sorry.
There may have been a pre-show that we just will never know. Kevin Owens versus Murphy. In the main card, we had The New Day versus Cesaro and Nakamura in a tables match for the SmackDown Tag Titles. We had Bayley versus Nikki Cross for the SmackDown Women's title. We had MVP versus Apollo Crews for the US title. Or we were meant to have that. We had Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio in a literally rip out your opponent's eye match. We had Asuka versus Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's title. We had Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler in a Dolph just makes up whatever the fuck he wants. And that's the rules match. And we had Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman do a thing. I don't even.
There's a lot more matches on this than I remember.
Yeah, well, there were 6, weren't
Yeah,
there?
but if you take out MVP versus Apollo Crews and the pre-show,
Yeah.
feels like a lot less.
Yeah. So, we are going to talk about key matches, and we've picked out 2 because, I mean, nothing felt really that key. I mean, you could even argue that one of the ones we're going to talk about doesn't really matter at all. But the first one we're going to talk about is a championship match. It was for the Raw Women's Championship, and in many ways, an absolute dream match. Asuka versus Sasha Banks. Are we all agreed on this, that Sasha Banks and Bayley are the best thing that's happening in WWE at the moment,
Yeah.
apart from maybe Keith Lee in NXT?
And
Definitely.
Asuka as well. I love everything Asuka's doing with her shouting away in Japanese with no
Yeah.
one knowing what she's doing and doing her weird little dances in interviews and just doing
Yeah.
whatever Asuka wants.
Okay, yeah, we'll give you that. But, I mean, you've got to be loving Bayley and Sasha as well,
Yes.
surely, Brett.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
I think kind of the thing is that with Asuka, we come to expect constant excellence all the time. And so it's not a surprise when she's doing amazingly.
Yes.
And whilst we believe that of maybe Sasha Banks as well, even though she kind of can go kind of like absent sometimes, Bayley has been probably the standout wrestler in lockdown
Yeah.
of wrestling.
Yeah, I think you're right. I had a realization when I was watching it last night. I just really love her. And when she turned heel and she first walked out without the music, with her new music and with her new haircut, I remember thinking, oh no, I don't know if I'm going to like this. And she's really surprised me. Really has.
Even
Yeah,
with
same.
the even newer haircut with that weird wedge at the back.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
works. Make it more angular. John, are you fully on board as well?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's taken her a while to get going as a heel, but I think now she's killing it.
I think she's definitely benefiting from the lack of crowd because she's really good at interacting with the comms team and I think her general sort of, talking and shtick during the match and when she stood outside is really good and you don't get to, witness any of that with a crowd. So I
Yeah.
think she's benefiting from that,
I
definitely.
think her friendship with Sasha Banks is a huge benefit. Just kind of the way those two vibe off each other is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And of course, we are supposed to be talking about the Sasha Banks match, and we will get to talking about Bayley versus Nikki Cross, I'm sure, a little bit later. But This match of the night by quite a long way, do you think?
Ooh.
Well,
Or maybe not quite a long way, but I mean, this was my match of the night for sure.
I
think
enjoyed
so.
this match. I wouldn't say it was my match of the night. I think kind of it was a little bit botchy.
Oh, do you reckon that was when I first saw the bit where Sasha was on top of the turnbuckle and fell off?
The double knees. Where she fell off and did her knee.
Yeah,
that was
I
weird.
thought that was a botch, but the way she sold it and was like having a go at the
They
referee.
recovered it so well, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean,
Styled out of it completely.
yeah.
I think it must have been a botch.
Do you reckon?
I think it was a botch.
Yeah, I do too. I think she did brilliantly to style out of it.
Yeah, real consummate professional.
Yeah.
Because she was screaming at the referee about this is my title, don't take this away from me, blah, 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 blah.
That moment was the best in the match.
Yeah,
like when she was just screaming at her, I need this title. It just kind of, it tells a deeper story about kind of what's going on with Sasha Banks at the moment. The fact that kind of obviously with her teamed up with Bayley, it's sort of like, they're best friends and they're kind of teasing a heel turn or one of them turning on the other. But kind of this was a really great highlight of kind of what Banks is doing at the moment, which is kind of, she is playing second fiddle to Bayley.
Yeah, she's the enforcer, isn't she?
Yeah, she's kind of...
She's Wardlow.
She's denying it, and then she kind of isn't. It's different. It's interesting. I like it a lot.
Good. But the match itself, I mean, two wrestlers who bloody go for it. The strikes and the knees early on were absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
And I just thought throughout the whole thing, you could just tell that they have a huge amount of respect for each other and that they said beforehand, right, just don't leave anything in that ring. Let's just go hell for leather. And did you spot the bit where, I mean, you definitely will have because it was quite blatant and I was surprised the camera stayed on it, but where they had that thing in the corner with the double knees and obviously, I don't know, maybe they clashed heads or something.
Oh, yeah.
And they were both a bit worried about each other and you had Sasha rubbing Asuka's arm and you had Asuka sort of rubbing her head.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Oh, yeah, I did. I thought
it was really lovely.
Yeah, that's cute. But it shouldn't
It
be,
was
but
kinda
it's cute.
Vince will have absolutely lost his shit. No
Oh
doubt.
my God, he would have done.
I thought what I really like, and I don't know if I've not noticed this before, because I know like the double knees is Sasha's thing, but she has a variety of uses for it, which I saw in this match. It's a bit like, Roderick Strong being the Mr. Backbreaker sort of thing. She employed it in many different ways, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Like to not just have a move that's yours, but think of every situation you can bring that in.
Absolutely. She really leans into that kind of knee style. Weirdly enough, she doesn't have a knee strike like kind of a Shining Wizard or anything like that, but...
Yeah.
No. She's got an amazing frog splash, though.
Great frog.
Yeah.
And some bloody killer Germans from Asuka in this match as well.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Sasha Banks is a living accordion. Like,
She might
she's
be
a rag doll, isn't
Yeah,
she?
she might be the best seller in WWE. She just flies all over the place.
Yeah. God. It's so great to have her back fully having these kind of matches because I remember when we first started the pod, it was around the time when she had that Hell in a Cell match with Charlotte. That was so good. And she was just having a run of great title matches.
Yeah, it felt like every Raw during then, wasn't it? It was those two fighting for the title.
Yeah.
Putting on amazing matches.
the thing with Sasha Banks is kind of, I still don't think she has reached her peak by any stretch. Like, kind of, obviously we've had constant excellence from Charlotte, and Becky Lynch has had that huge revelation kind of run a couple of years ago and still kind of going even today, despite being pregnant, I suppose. Bayley has obviously kind of come into her own ever since her heel turn, and I think kind of we're still waiting on the big kind of Banks moment for her on the main roster.
She's 28, so there's time.
Yeah,
there's plenty of time for that to happen.
The thing is, for my money, I think Sasha Banks is the best wrestler out of the four of them.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Out of which four?
Charlotte.
Becky.
Charlotte, Becky, Bayley, Banks. I think Banks is the best.
Yeah, it's definitely between her and Charlotte.
Oh, Adam's got his heckles up.
The thing was, I think in this match, which I think Sasha has, which Charlotte probably doesn't, was there was a lot of nice, slick, quick sequences between they kept on talking about her being, this counter wrestler, and they really did play on that, especially early on, and that's really
the counter
nice
into the
and
bank
slick.
statement.
Yeah, the only thing I could criticize this match for was there were, and I even enjoyed the ending, which we'll get to.
I was going to say, I have quite a big criticism of this match, but yeah, go on.
For me, there were I noticed a number of moments where their timing was ever so slightly off, and it seemed like Asuka was putting herself in position or already in position to take moves before Sasha was there, or Sasha should have been the one in some instances putting her in position, but she wasn't. She was off, so Asuka was doing it. If that makes sense. Which just there were just a few moments that just jarred throughout it, because there were lots of really slick moments, and there was a great pace to this match as well. So I did really enjoy it. That's just a small.
I think these two could go on to have a really killer feud.
Yeah, I hope they do, yes. And I hope that's what the ending is.
They've got a rematch coming up on Raw next week.
Ooh, so awesome. The ending.
Yeah. So what happened, Sam? There was some green mist involved.
Okay, so obviously you got both Kairi Sane and Bayley managing their tag partners, I guess, and Bayley gets involved. Asuka drinks the green mist, goes to spit it, misses. Sasha gets the ref. Bayley drops Sasha, I think, or maybe Banks drops Sasha. Wait,
Asuka.
Nope. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Bayley didn't drop Sasha because
Bayley turns on Sasha. No, someone knocks out Asuka with the belt. Bayley nicks the ref's shirt, counts the 3 count, and proclaims Sasha to be the champ.
Yeah. So obviously, I don't think Sasha's the champ.
No, she's
on from this.
Stephanie McMahon has spoken.
She's stolen the belt, which is part of why I enjoyed this ending. I was down with it because it didn't ruin the match. I think it came at the right time, and it was
in character, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was well done, especially like Bayley stealing the shirt off the ref.
Yeah, I love the way she did it as well. Like peel it off inside out and then put it on, so you're not actually getting necessarily all the sweat from the guy.
Great shirt technique.
Yeah.
I would have liked it more if this was the only weird finish in this pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think that is fair. There were a lot of strange finishes in this pay-per-view.
It's the horror show, Sam.
Quite, yeah.
This is the horror pod. You wait until you see how we're going to end this pod. My eye's coming out. Go ahead, John.
Of all the weird finishes on this pay-per-view, this is what I enjoyed, though. I'm with Brett. I like this finish. It made me laugh and smile. It fits in with their characters.
It does really work with them at the moment, yeah.
And it made me not so angry that Asuka didn't really lose.
Yeah, it kind of makes everyone look strong.
I'm not that keen on Asuka losing, so.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you're right. We probably haven't spent enough time on Asuka, but we're all just massive fans, aren't we?
Yeah.
There's no real debate to be had.
The best hip attack I've ever seen was in this match, I think.
Oh, yes.
There was a point as well during this match when Asuka got thrown into the plexiglass and the camera caught it proper Wile E. Coyote style. It's excellent.
The introduction of the plexiglass is just a great thing. It makes me wonder. Even when they start bringing crowds back, you could imagine they might keep it for a while because it's got that sort of ice hockey effect that people can like. There's a bit that we'll get to later, but where Dolph Ziggler got chucked at it and the camera angle looked amazing.
Yeah, there's a couple of sunset flips by Rey Mysterio as well that looked amazing against the
yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about
and we've seen some great use of it as well in NXT recently in the Lee versus Gargano match. There's just been some really, really great uses of it. So yeah, silver lining to all this death.
Thank goodness for COVID-19 because we got plexiglass.
Good. Well, let's move on then. That was definitely my favourite match, and we're going to move on to. It's not a match, but let's talk about the swamp fight, the Wyatt swamp fight between Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman and another Braun Strowman and a stuntman and a couple of other guys.
Not Luke Sachs. No, was it? Not Luke Harper and not Eric Rowan.
And the Fiend.
The Snake guy.
Alexa Bliss was there.
Oh, yeah.
Alexa
Bliss.
Oh, yeah, that's weird. One of the guys looked like Christopher Eccleston as well. The guy that set himself on fire. Don't know if he made an appearance. I didn't look on IMDb for credits, but maybe.
So I don't really know how we approach this. Actually, I think I do know. In terms of all the pre-tape cinematic matches that we've had over this period, Brett, where would you rank this? Because you were not a fan of Taker versus AJ. Was this better than that for you? Where does it rank?
It ranks 1 millimeter notch above Taker versus AJ.
No. You absolute troll, Jones.
I think I enjoyed it a little bit more than that, but I really didn't enjoy it all that much.
I just think that goes to show how much you must have hated Taker versus AJ.
I did.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's insane.
I hated this swamp match.
The thing was, I chuckled when like Braun appeared in front of himself.
I chuckled when I realised Braun had shaved his chest hair into pecs. Did you notice that?
Had he? I did notice that, yeah.
Yeah, he's shaved his chest hair so to make his pecs look more defined.
Yeah.
I did think he looked pretty ripped in this.
There you go. It's the old
good manicuring.
Film 300 airbrushing.
John, where do you rank it then? I mean, is it above the Money in the Bank match or below? You know, where is it? Is it the worst one you've seen?
I think this is the worst. This is the worst one.
I think I have to
The only
agree.
note I have about it is that I liked Bray's shirt. I was like, I wonder where he got that shirt from. And like, especially the bit where so Braun beat up a load of guys and got taken to the hut, and he was sitting in a chair with just chains laid across his lap.
And then he kept on breathing really like heavy and constant, and it was like making me want to pass out.
God, Braun is a terrible actor. Absolutely terrible.
is.
Some of the facials that he was pulling were awful. It's like, Braun, look shocked. It was like some sort of school play. It's like a 4-year-old.
And
being
that
told to
line
look
when he
shocked.
says, "I'm going to send you to hell," that was so cringe.
The one thing that really upset me more than anything else was that I was raised in a house where if you touch a light bulb, it burns. And that fucking light bulb was constantly leaning against Bray's polyester Hawaiian shirt, and he should have been set on fire like the Axe dude. And
I didn't notice that.
very dangerous. Don't put your clothes on light bulbs unless you want to start fires.
I think they were both sweating so much, despite the fact not really moving very much. They must have just doused his shirt in water, so that's probably why it was on fire.
Okay, that's an acceptable reason for the light bulb not setting his shirt on fire.
Another issue I had with this, and these perhaps nighttime outside things, like they need a better crew.
Yeah,
like,
it was so
because
hard, wasn't it?
It's like so badly lit. It's so close quarters that you can't actually make out much of anything going on. There was just so much, like, even if there were some, some ideas in there, I just don't think they were able to execute it at all.
I think, for me, the problem just lies with the fact that, I hate to say this, but Bray Wyatt or The Fiend or whatever is very one note. And this was great when he did it against John Cena. That was kind of something different, something interesting, something cool.
That was mostly like video editing and packages, and
Exactly.
very little of a match or a fight or whatever.
This was very much Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton in that weird horror house.
With the
I'd actually say that was better, probably.
Yeah.
'Cause at least that was a
Yeah.
match of sorts.
There was some wrestling in that.
Yeah. They've really jumped the shark with this, I think, and I think it's going to be difficult to come back from this, if I'm honest.
And what a shit ending as well. Like this big horror thing, and he just kicks him into the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
then they
that's
do the
it.
fake ending, and then he comes out and does
The little sting
Jason
came up,
thing.
didn't it? The little bump thing. I think it's a little harsh to say he's a bit one note, because even this is different from the other stuff we've seen.
He's
from
got
him.
3 characters.
Yeah.
I mean, that's already 3 notes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it is a little bit harsh to say he's one note, but I suppose I always feel like I'm going to get the same general thing from Bray Wyatt, which is essentially just kind of like, ooh, I'm weird, I'm in your head, and here's a bunch of weird shit around that. And kind of the whole lockdown thing has really kind of assisted him with all of that, because they've done so many more kind of pre-recorded things. But I just want to see him fucking wrestle, to be honest. I just want to see him put on a 20-minute match and just see, you know what can you do?
Well, you need to go back and watch the Super Showdown main event against Seth Rollins. I told you it was a good
Stop
match.
trying to get me to watch Super Showdown. It ain't going to happen.
That was probably the last match he had, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a good match. That was a good match. It's weird with this because I was watching it and immediately I was like, oh, this is shit. I can't wait to talk about this on the pod. And then I was just like, well, actually, they are putting the effort in. Like, it's not, I don't think it's terribly done. And I think if I was like a 15-year-old, I'd probably find this really exciting and a bit different and maybe even a bit spooky. Obviously, you know, now for us, people who've watched full-blown proper horror films or actual scary psychological thrillers, then this is an absolute joke. But for what it was, I think it was quite entertaining. It's not a wrestling match. It shouldn't be classed as a match at all. But it was it's a bit different. It's a bit fun. It's a throwaway pay-per-view.
Yeah, I don't think it is that different though from what he's doing.
I just
it's
think
different to everything else on the card. You know?
With wrestlers, like, if there's one thing that they should be able to do is like action stuff, you know, in a video production, they should be able to do action, and they've obviously not got people, you know, they're just perhaps coming up with their own little sequences rather than have so like they just need someone to tell them if they're going to do these video packages that know how these things work and say, right, you know, you need to do this, you need to do that. They need some direction, I think, because like we see in film and stuff, they can, you know, wrestlers can do action shit. So why can they not do it in this?
Yeah.
I don't think it was that bad, but yeah.
What do you reckon's going to happen? Do you reckon they're going to do something cool with Braun after this? Or do you reckon he's just going to come back as if nothing has happened?
I think as long as Braun can tip over ambulances and stuff like that, then he's more exciting. When you're leaning on him, character work and stuff like that, I just don't.
Yeah, I agree.
And also wrestling matches, you know, there's not too much he can do in a wrestling match. So you need those big monster things. Otherwise, it's just going to be a really poor run of a championship.
I think the ideal thing for me at this point would be kind of Braun Strowman coming back with the black sheep mask and kind of the Fiend calling the shots, but Braun Strowman being the heavy.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm well up for that actually.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure
being
initially.
under control, that would be much better.
I'd be on board with that. Yeah,
because there's nothing wrong with needing a manager. You know, you can still be a great champion or whatnot if you've got a manager, you know, who can do all that stuff for you.
And I do like the idea of them being tag champs at some point down the line. But the thing is, all of this will probably happen. You know?
Yeah, probably. It just feels like they've put the title on Braun now. They should do something with him because at the moment he's languishing and just needs to do something.
One of the most enjoyable things about this match was I watched it. Basically, I watched every other match last night. Really enjoyed it. Like, really enjoyed just sitting down and watching this pay-per-view, actually. And then I just meant to watch this last match today and didn't get around to it. Too busy. Watched it literally before we recorded. And usually I watch it with headphones, but I didn't this time. And Hannah, my wife, came in and she was like, what, you watch it? It sounds like you're watching some kind of awful porn. She said, because usually... You said you were watching wrestling, but usually there's like crowd noise or, I mean, obviously... You know, obviously she's not listening to the pod. She's not aware that the crowds aren't there at the moment. But or there's actual sounds of wrestling moves happening. But it was like little like laughing and children crying and Alexa Bliss getting involved and water noises and snakes and all a bit weird.
That Alexa Bliss bit, what? That was very strange.
Anyway,
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Okay, so those were the two sort of key matches that we really wanted to get our teeth into. We're going to talk about the best of the rest now. John, do you want to select a match that you really enjoyed?
Oh, I was hoping you were going to come to me last because there's a lot of I want to talk about. I was hoping someone else was going to pick some.
Okay. No, what about you, Sam? Okay, that you tease the other two thinking they're going to get a chance.
Go for I thought was joint best match, and that is Dolph Ziggler versus Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. I like this a lot.
I thought it was way better than it had any right to be. We've all seen Dolph Ziggler over the years, but he's still got it.
Unexpected.
This match was Dolph Ziggler chose the stipulation, and he put himself in a bury himself alive match, and he did it.
I still think it was a good match, though. I quite like the stipulation. It did add a little bit of extra interest to it.
I enjoyed the stipulation. And going straight to the end now, can I say, for a guy Drew McIntyre's size to do a kip up straight into his Claymore was just awesome.
Yeah, he's
insane.
insane.
Smooth. It was just so good, and it was like
beautiful.
It seemed like a really awkward sequence of, movements to need to do in that split second, but he absolutely nailed it.
This match was better than it had any right to be. I really enjoyed the rock bottom onto the chair.
Yeah, I really loved the bit where Drew, I think, was going to powerbomb Ziggler through a table, but just as he was about to, he sort of realised he'd get DQ'd for it, then had to sort of dump Dolph Ziggler onto the ground, which probably was a much worse bump to take.
The thing for me is that kind of, I think this is just a bit like harsh on Dolph Ziggler. He's better than needing some silly kind of gimmicks and stuff like that to have this match and kind of bury himself even further. Like, I can't imagine a wrestler whose stock is lower than his.
I know.
I don't know. I don't feel that way about him. I feel like, again, it's like totally nailing the character. Exactly the kind of thing he'd do, because he is a bit of a knob, and he's just and he's like a not creepy. That's not the word. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of.
He's a bit of a loser as far as he's a cowardly heel.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, I've got the stipulation, and most people would like grandstand and maybe announce it on Raw the week before, but he's like, no, I'm going to wait, and I'm literally going to wait until the announcements have happened, and then I'm going to say what it is. And it's not just going to be, it's an Extreme Rules for me. It's also going to be, if I get counted out, then, all those rules. It's basically champion's non-advantage.
My issue is, though, is that where do you go with Dolph Ziggler from here?
Oh, like, nowhere.
Nowhere. You don't need to go anywhere with him.
Just something like this, or slightly different, when they need a match, because Dolph is their guy that they can rely on when they need something, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the perfect employee, isn't he?
Yeah,
that really upsets me that a lot, because I think he's a good wrestler, and I think he could do.
The thing is, I think he's a good wrestler, but I don't think he's top tier, and I don't think he's champion and stuff. And I think he's good in roles like this. I did think that was, maybe he could be better, but actually seeing, the other opportunities he's had in the last couple of years, because he's had quite a lot more recently, and he's never done anything like that amazing with it.
That's the thing. He's always the bridesmaid. He's always put in there for like an easy win. And it's just a little bit like, I don't know, I want to see the Dolph from 2015, like kind of. I think kind of he's got the ability, he's got the personality, he's got the wrestling ability, but I don't think he ever gets the rub or the push. And so kind of whenever I see a Dolph Ziggler match on the card, I'm always just like, right, who's he jobbing to this week? And that disappoints me a little bit.
I disagree. I think there's probably no one in WWE that had more pushes than Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, I think he's had a lot of pushes.
Fair enough.
I suppose he has been there 15 years. But I reckon maybe he quite enjoys it.
Yeah.
It's like every 6 months he gets a title match, or he gets a decent story.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, he could just be there to collect a paycheck.
Yeah, I think he likes doing. He does stand-up comedy as well, doesn't he? I think, which I haven't seen, but I'm sure it's atrocious.
Yeah.
Now that's a horror show.
Hey.
Plus, this was a good match to put over Drew even further in his dominance.
Yes,
because he looked a machine. And no matter what stipulations were there, it wasn't required.
Despite everything, he's having a great run as a champion, I think.
Yeah.
I guess, it was absolutely never in doubt that he was going to win, even with those stipulations.
Yeah.
So I guess that is a bit of a problem, and that's something that the fact that he was against Dolph Ziggler, you knew that would be the case.
That's exactly what my problem is.
I don't mind that.
I thought it was going to be a Claymore in the first 30 seconds. And
yeah, me too. That's what I thought was going to happen. I kind of wanted that after Dolph came out and did the long speech about the stipulation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Yeah.
What stipulation would you put to kind of, if you were in Dolph Ziggler's situation?
Ooh, probably exactly the same.
It's a good stip, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. What else could you do?
I don't know,
you can't touch me stipulation.
Oh, Bailey is the special guest ref or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, Drew has to be blindfolded, hands tied behind his back, ankles bound.
Yeah.
Gag in his mouth. Oh, sorry, this is something. Weird. So, as you said, it was much better than it had any right to be, and I really wish there was somebody else hosting to move on from.
Do you want to do more best of the rest?
Yes. So, Sam, give us another best of the rest.
Let's talk about Cesaro powerbombing Kofi Kingston through 2 tables.
Oh, that was amazing. One of the greatest spots of the night, for sure, and a really good match.
another bridesmaid, Cesaro, but one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time.
Yeah,
Bridesmaid with a belt. He's got a belt.
It's very true.
He's finally got his engagement ring.
It's incredible how he manages to go from tag partner to tag partner, and every tag team is really good, and yet at the same time it's really shit because it's never like an actual tag team.
Yeah, it is a bit shit in a way, isn't it? Because again, at least with the Bar, they were called the Bar, and they had ring gear that matched up, and they did the hand thing together.
It took them about 3 or 4 years to get.
Yeah, there was a long time. It's getting there.
3 or 4 years. I just don't care about Nakamura at all anymore.
No,
It's
I know.
such a shame.
No, does Nakamura care about being there?
I think he's enjoying life.
Like,
hard to tell.
maybe he's enjoying life and he's just not that bothered about Yeah, because I loved Nakamura, but yeah, I'm in the same boat.
I think all power to him. Like you've worked so long in New Japan, and each match you do there must fucking hurt. Like, you just take a break, just come over here, get a payday, enjoy the weather. You know,
he likes surfing, doesn't he? I think so.
Yeah. So this obviously was a SmackDown tag title match between New Day and Cesaro and Nakamura, and it was the match that kicked off. And it feels like we've had a lot of pay-per-views like this where you have the New Day in some sort of multi-man match. I mean, obviously a tag match, but with some sort of stipulation, you just know it's going to be good. But how did you feel in general about the stipulation? I was sort of like, well, now you know that there's literally only going to be one table spot. If it has to end, it has to end by being put through a table. No, because in other matches where tables are involved, you could get put through 5 tables before you get pinned.
A tables match isn't an unusual stipulation, though, is it?
Yeah, but not all tables matches end with one person going through a table.
Yes, they do.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they do. You're just thinking of general Extreme Rules or table ladders and chairs or something.
I don't like these newfangled tables matches. I think it's ridiculous, but it does take something away from it, doesn't it? Knowing that you're not like they set up tables, but you're like, well, he's probably not going to go through that because the match has only just started.
What I hate
like
is you have all the tables then end up upside down, and I keep thinking someone's going to impale themselves.
I know, right?
So
Someone's going to
dangerous.
lose an eye.
That happens so much during this match, and I get really uncomfortable. I'm like, or it's like when a chair's upside down. I'm just like, someone please just.
We've spoken at length about this before, about tables and chairs being upside down and people losing eyes, and it feels like it's getting closer and closer, and it's quite worrying.
Yeah.
And it was the ring steps all along that you had to worry about.
No one suspects the stairs.
Anyway, so the New Day lost their belts. Nice to see, obviously, the ring gear that the New Day had with their little get well soons for oh my God, Xavier Woods. And they had the armbands as well. Do you see? One of them had Breonna Taylor. What was the other one? Who's John?
This was a guy, I think, who has been suffered in the protests. I don't know the details.
No, I wasn't 100% sure. I Googled it, New Day and then Breonna and John, but I couldn't find out. But assuming it's another worthy cause. Anything else on this match, Brett? Anything to say?
Just can Big E stop doing spears to the outside of the ring?
No, come on, let's
because
stick.
It looks amazing, but oh my days! Every time I think he's going to kill himself,
Or whoever he's going into.
yeah, because he fully flies into
He
it.
does, yeah.
Best suicide dive in wrestling.
Yeah, good.
Okay, well, that was a great match. And like you said, what a wonderful end. That spot through the 2 tables looked amazing. And Cesaro really slammed him down.
Crossing the
Poor
arms
old
as well.
Kofi.
What a cool powerbomb.
Did you notice that when Cesaro and Shinsuke were kind of leaving, they obviously showed Kofi still laying in the tables. Big E was just sitting next to the ring somewhere, didn't bother to check on his mate, just chilling out.
Are you calling a Biggie heel turn?
Maybe.
Imagine a whole New Day heel turn one day.
I can't wait to see who Cesaro's next tag team partner will be. I want it almost just to be Cesaro and Cesaro.
Dolph Ziggler, I reckon.
I think we've had Cesaro and Ziggler already.
No, have we?
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah. Main event.
He definitely fits the profile of the kind of person he'd get teamed up with. Okay, so any other best of the rest?
I've got one.
Yeah, go on, Brett.
We sort of touched on it earlier. Rey Mysterio doing his slide out of the ring into a sunset bomb on Seth Rollins looked amazing.
That did look
amazing.
Fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen him do the slide underneath the ring, under the bottom rope thing to the outside move, like usually a splash.
It happened
or
earlier
something.
in the match onto the table. It happened earlier, didn't
and he's
it?
done it a few times, but seeing it into that sunset flip was just awesome.
That's so cool, because you're normally an outspoken critic of people sliding out of the ring.
Yeah.
It's when they slide back
When
in
we
again.
talk
he's
about
not a fan of.
people.
This match was... I liked this match.
Me too.
It was
this
a
would
good
be my
match.
best of the rest.
It was a good match.
It was an okay match.
No, but John, I'm saying this is my best of the rest because it's one that we haven't spoken about. Literally the rest of the matches that we haven't spoken about. But yeah, I liked it. I mean, considering it started off with that guy with the ring announcer admitting that we would only have a winner when someone extracts the eye of his opponent, which is
So
it's just.
stupid.
Yeah.
But I was so intrigued because I was like, right, well, what are they going to do? I mean, obviously, nobody's taking an eye out here. Are they going to fake it, or is there going to be some sort of other blow off or finish, which means that they don't even need to get to that? So I was quite excited to see what would happen, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a lot, actually.
I thought it was a good match. I did ignore the ridiculous stipulation to this match.
Yeah.
Because I just thought, this is ridiculous. Whatever it's going to be, it's not going to look good.
No.
So I was really like unsure, but actually as a match, ignoring that part, I thought it was a really decent match.
Yeah, 100%.
Great talent.
I think
With two great wrestlers. There's loads of great, spots in it. That wasn't, it probably had an advantage that it wasn't just a constant trying to gouge eye out.
There
I've seen some criticism of that.
of eye bumps in this match. Like, I've never watched a match with so many eye bumps.
Almost
On
as
the
if
corner
all
of the
them-
table.
Not just on the corner of the table, just like every move was on the eye.
It's so good that, because there were so many times when someone would hit him in the face and they would just be like, oh, he got him right in the eye that time. It's just really...
What I don't understand as well is, like, this wasn't like an unsanctioned match, so this must have been signed off by the Orlando Athletic Commission at some point. Like,
That is true. There's a major plot flaw in this.
This whole match, this is like the equivalent of like when you've got an 8-year-old playing with wrestling figures
oh my god, it is.
and just making up stipulations and stuff as they go. That was basically this whole match. It made no sense whatsoever. They might as well just have a kill someone match or something like that.
Well,
because
yeah.
That'll happen next. I enjoyed the commentary the whole time being sort of quite somber about it, being like, well, it's got to this stage and that's what they're going to have to do it. And, I'm surprised he's punched him there because, he really should be going for the eye. He's going to have to pull that eye out. I did see some criticism of people sort of saying, like, why was Rey Mysterio doing all his luchador stuff when he just needs to go for the eye, for God's sake. But, I mean, Rey Mysterio is still fucking
That
great.
bit towards like the end where he rallied was so good. Like the last 5 minutes or so where he was on top and like dominating Rollins. It was brilliant. I bloody love Rey Mysterio.
I have a small criticism, which is basically at the very beginning, Seth Rollins brings out a pair of pliers. If you're going to remove someone's eyes, bring a spoon.
Yeah.
Don't bring a pair of pliers.
That's exactly what I thought. What you need is like a sundae spoon, don't you?
Yeah,
One of those, like a teaspoon with a long arm that you're going to have an ice cream sundae.
That would
Maybe even bring the sundae and stick that eyeball on the top.
Lovely.
Like a gobstopper.
Yeah.
Commit to
That
it.
would be really lovely.
I don't know anyone. I don't think Dominic has been involved in. I have no idea. Just Dominic. Dominic is a thing, and I think Rey Mysterio needs to maybe tell him to stop getting involved in his life.
It's not a good
Dominic's
omen,
got
is
a
he?
contract.
He's not.
We're going to see Dominic v Nicholas. It's going to headline WrestleMania 50.
Where was Nicholas in the swamp? He should have been.
Oh, that would have been perfect, actually. Yeah.
Hey, he had school. That's why he had to give the title back, remember?
He didn't have school at the moment.
Oh yeah, good point.
I mean, he probably did. He's probably been sent
Homeschool.
straight back to school if Trump has his way. Anyway, how funny was the eye bit? When at the end, when we got that little glimpse of an eyeball underneath Ray's hand, and then we got Seth puking, which was pretty well done. Like I thought about rewinding to see when Ray was given the eyeball, whatever it was, the golf ball or the gobstopper, and B, when did Seth take a mouthful of what was supposed to look like sick.
I just wondered if Seth could have that ability all along, but he never told Vince in case he got nervous. Or was it puke or bile or something?
I was going to say, I could just imagine
Puke,
Vince
come
in the
on.
back saying, "Oh my God, he's gonna puke."
That is amazing. That's what he's going to be doing from now on. I mean, I did read what happened on Raw last night, and unfortunately he didn't puke. So gutting.
I did not like the end of this match. Too much for me. Too much.
I enjoyed the spectacle of it, and then what I really enjoyed was after Seth was looking a bit gutted with himself after puking, you had that fan in a Becky Lynch t-shirt giving him the big thumbs down and booing him.
Was it Becky Lynch?
I don't think so. But that's the father of her child, mate. You've got to support him. You've got to wish the best for him.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The best for him means the best for Becky. Not you, the fan, John. I'm not having a go at you.
Has anyone had a worse month than Rey Mysterio? Like, he has been thrown off a building and killed.
Yeah.
Choked out by Shayna Baszler.
Oh, yes.
And now had his eye literally removed from his head.
Literally, right? Rey Mysterio is still an amazing wrestler. Why are they doing him like this?
One of the greatest
like
of
since
all
he's
time.
been back. Like,
But he had a great match. I say great match. A great performance.
He's not been getting the rub of the victories or anything, is he?
He's not. In fact, we talk about best salesperson in all of WWE, the best seller. Rey Mysterio has canonically probably died twice in the last month.
Oh dear. Anyway, after this match, we then had another fantastic promo from Bayley, of course, when it looked like she was going to be giving some sympathy for Ray. And I kind of believed it. I didn't think that it was going to turn. I just thought maybe that they were all going to go that route, sort of trying to make it out as if it's really serious and really bad. But then she jokes about him having double vision, which was great.
You know what? They did enough to get me, because afterwards when Kayla Braxton was talking about globe luxation, and I was like, that's not a thing. Googled it. Everyone.
Big mistake.
Globe luxation is a thing. Do not Google it. Do not go to Google Images. And if you do, make sure you didn't eat before that, because my God.
I just don't know what you were hoping to find there, Sam.
I don't know. I was hoping for it to be like the Jack Tunney of medical terms. Like, it's not a real thing. It's just... Oh, God.
Revolting. Okay, so that's the best of the rest. I think we should have a quick break before we come back and talk about anything we didn't like, star performers, and overall ranks.
Oh, what an explosion of a human body on the ring apron.
The hardest part of the ring.
Yeah, very small, if any, padding. It's basically that mat you're looking at. And that damn thing is nothing but feels like, I don't know, sandpaper.
Right then, it would traditionally be worst of the rest, but during that short break, we just kind of realised that there isn't really anything terrible to talk about, and actually Bayley versus Nikki Cross is the only match we haven't touched upon, and I think generally we thought it was all right. It was quite fun.
Really
John,
good. Yeah.
you said you liked it.
Yeah, especially the start. Like, Nikki Cross came out the gate so quick, and like there was a neck breaker really early on. It was just so hot. It was brilliant.
That was a great neck breaker.
It's so great to see what they're doing with Nikki Cross, because I really expected her to just sink down the card and just be irrelevant.
Yeah.
But she's been a lot of fun. She's great whenever she does any promos or like the Moment of Bliss stuff in the early days when she was bringing coffee to Alexa. And she backs it up in the ring as well. She always has decent matches because of the pace that she goes at. And I really enjoyed Bayley not really taking her seriously as a threat and then slowly realising that she was actually going to be a challenge. It was good fun.
Yeah, it's an amazing parallel to kind of Bayley's earlier career in NXT, when she was playing massive underdog and people weren't taking her seriously and kind of thinking she wasn't a challenge. So, yeah, good storytelling.
Are there any bad things to talk about apart from stuff that we have covered in other matches?
Yeah, well, I've got one.
Go on,
You're
Brett.
not going to like me for it, though, Adam.
Okay, well, Sam, what's yours?
It's not the perspex per se, but the banging on the perspex got on my nerve something chronic during this paper.
Get out, Brett. Just go.
Can't believe this.
It's just such a jarring, annoying noise. Especially when they kept on doing the Kenny Omega, like,
the Terminator.
Yeah, the Terminator. But yeah, that's my worst.
Okay. I think
didn't enjoy it.
Sam.
Yeah, let's talk about Apollo Crews possibly having coronavirus.
Oh, is that why?
I think so.
Yeah, I googled it and it says that's what it says. I mean, that it's not confirmed anywhere.
Sure. And then WWE just willfully ignoring the real world entirely, just to do a weird bit about it. Like, just say he's fucking, it's crazy times at the moment.
They're not going to say that though, because it would put people off.
Oh, it's just the willful ignorance of WWE, almost pretending that Corona just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just that. Sorry, go on, man.
And they still won't give Bobby Lashley the title, but MVP.
Well, I mean, MVP is pretty great.
I mean, I'd rather that.
Yeah. But Bobby Lashley, you must be thinking, fucking hell, what do I have to do? I can't even talk, and now my mouthpiece is winning the belts.
Yeah, I don't know. Just admit that the virus is real.
Yeah, and do some proper testing.
I was kind of relieved that we didn't have to watch it, though. It wasn't. I'm always happy for a pay-per-view to have one fewer match.
I would have watched the shit out of MVP Apollo Crews because I think that would have been a really good match.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay. Well, you're entitled to your opinions because it's a podcast and that's what we're here for. I don't have any other worst of the rest. I genuinely enjoyed it.
I've got one more best of the rest that I want to squeeze in there.
That's not the format.
Going against the format.
The horror show. Yeah, I know.
Go on then.
Yeah, well, suck it. I am loving the fact that kind of all the masks that all the crowd are wearing now are really bright fluorescent colours because it just looks like there's a bunch of Mortal Kombat ninjas in the crowd watching the match, and I love it.
There we go. Mortal Kombat reference done.
Check. Done. Mortal Kombat done again.
On to Star Performers, where we pick out our MVP from the whole pay-per-view. I'm going to go first. We've talked loads about her, but I really do adore her, which is a feeling that I've never had before. But I just realised that she's just the absolute best at the moment, and it is Bayley. Sam, do you feel the same way, or have you got someone else?
Let's give it to Dolph. Yeah, and
Dolph Ziggler. This might be the first.
Wow. And you're saying he isn't getting the rub, and he's just become your star performer.
Getting it from what matters.
John, who's yours?
I'm going to go Sasha Banks.
Nice. Well deserved as well. Brett, what about you?
I'm going with John. It's great to see.
John didn't even appear on this one.
The quiz, motherfuckers.
And Sasha Banks. It's great seeing her have a great match.
What a power couple.
On a pay-per-view.
Lovely. Okay, so now it's time for overall rank. Feels like ages since we did this, or maybe it's just because I wasn't on the Backlash one, was I?
No, you weren't. It has been ages since we've done it.
Okay, this is where we give the pay-per-view a score out of 10 and work out the average. John, why don't you go first?
Ooh, I'm going to go 6.5.
Brett.
A solid 7.
Sam.
6.
Ooh. I will go for a 7.25. It was really easy watching. A bit
better than me.
I enjoyed it. Easy viewing, nothing terrible, nothing out of this world, but lots to enjoy.
Yeah,
7.25.
I would agree with that. It was all right.
That gives an overall rank of 6.688.
I feel like it's better than that. But that's how it works. That's how averages work.
Well, that sandwiches it nicely between SummerSlam 2019, which was 6.5, and WrestleMania 36 Night 2, which was 6.75.
Nice.
It's about fair.
Okay. Yeah. So that is what we thought. Usually we'd have a little break and a sting, but we just had one, basically. So let's go straight into listener comments. John, who thought what? I think we asked for 3 highlights,
yes,
right?
3 highlights. So we have Stone Pitbull. No, not that one. 1, Joe is good on commentary. Is he injured or transitioning? What gender?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't think he's transitioning.
No.
I mean, maybe he is. Who am I to say?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
Very good.
To be fair, is he transitioning into commentary like full time? Do you think he is, or?
I think he's both. I think he is injured at the moment.
I'd be fine with it.
Probably.
I think he'd be a very good full time commentator.
Yeah, I think that's where he will be moving forward potentially. Also says, very good in-ring work for the most part. Ruined by horrible Vince Russo finishes. Truly awful. 3, Sasha is and always has been really, really good. He also says that he enjoyed the quiz. Thank you very much.
Neat.
Thanks, Stone Pitbull.
Yeah. Graham Hughes. 1, Drew versus Dolph was much better than expected. That stipulation made it work even better. 2, Kevin Owens versus Buddy Murphy on the kickoff show was a solid match and worth a watch. And 3, Asuka versus Sasha, 2 wrestlers at the top, plus Bayley and Carrie at ringside. Oh, Kari. Wonderfully silly finish too.
Do you think when Kevin Owens says it's the KO show, he means it's the kickoff show?
That's a t-shirt I want.
Why the fuck didn't they play up to that? I mean, maybe they didn't watch it.
We also have Loserweight, Drew versus Dolph, savage bumps, great selling, good use of a clever stip, and Dolph proving he still has value as a performer. Asuka versus Sasha, great wrestlers doing great wrestling. I'm ignoring the finish. Fair. Joe on comms forever. A lot of love for Joe on comms. He's in my draft pick, so I hope he does wrestle a little bit.
Oh, John.
Do I still get points for commentary?
No.
He's still an active. He's still an active performer.
I'd be tempted, you know.
Oh, yeah, see.
But I'm sure Sam can persuade me not to.
Okay, well, I need to work on Sam. Finally, Evans Pringle. Bray Wyatt, but he can do no wrong for me. That's controversial. Drew versus Ziggler. Ziggler needs more spotlight, but less hair straighteners. It's not 2006. Great match, though. And 3, the length of it, the pay-per-view, not Ziggler's hair. He also says, eye for eye match had me checking my eye sockets multiple times. What's the worst match ending ever? Anyone got any ones?
No. It's difficult.
I think there's one we've done recently, which I think is up there, which is WrestleMania 8 with Sid Vicious kicking out the leg drop and Shango shambling his way to the ring.
Shit, there was a match I watched, which was basically a WCW one where someone had to get put in an electric chair, and the match finished when they got electrocuted.
Yeah, so this is nothing. WCW like every week was worse than this.
Montreal Screwjob.
Oh, that's a good one. Yes,
classic.
But also the best.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? Any time they've tried to redo the Montreal Screwjob, that's the worst ever.
There you go. Perfect. Thank you very much to everybody who got in touch. And now, before we go, we are going to see the return of a segment that we haven't seen in quite a long time, actually. It's Five Forever.
3, 2, 1, go. Five Forever.
Oh, I forgot we do this.
Five Forever.
I did. I left the gap thinking we were going to put in a sting. I forgot we did this.
Five Forever.
Should we do it again?
No, this is it.
That's how it goes.
That's probably the
Five
best it's
Forever.
ever sounded.
Yeah.
Five Forever.
Sam, what's Five Forever?
Five Forever is a part of the podcast where we just look at 5 things that have happened in recent wrestling and talk about them. That's it. That's all it is. Number 5, The North. Who's heard of The North?
Nope.
As a tag team.
I have, because I watched Slammiversary.
Yeah. So The North are the longest reigning champions in Impact history, and apparently Slammiversary was pretty good.
It was. I watched it purely because it had Motor City Machine Guns.
Oh,
So
I did
back.
see. Yeah, they were back.
Yeah, I watched The North versus Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan,
Yeah.
and that was
Ken
a
Shamrock?
pretty good match. Ken Shamrock can
Actual
still
Ken
wrestle.
Shamrock?
Actual Ken
Yeah.
Shamrock looks like a ripped Robert De Niro.
He
now.
does. He does. That's a very good
That's an amazing
description.
compliment. Yeah, I'm sure he'd be delighted. He's 56.
Oh my! Is he seriously 56? 'Cause he was wrestling like he was 46.
He is 56, apparently, according to Wikipedia.
Incredible stuff. Yeah, Brett. Quick word on Slammiversary.
No, it was good. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I didn't know a lot of the people. There were wrestlers that I thought I would have heard of all of the people on it, but there were so many I had no idea who they were. Some great guys as well.
Yeah, I think low key. Impact is getting good again, so maybe keep an eye on that.
And they're getting everyone back from WWE.
Yeah.
Eric Young, EC3. I think even Heath and Rhino.
Yeah. Number 4, show of Roppongi 3K fame.
You bloody love a bit of show, don't you?
He's having a good old singles push at the moment whilst Yo's getting ACL surgery. He's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, he is. He is really good.
Amazing match with Shingo Takagi at Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
And
he has.
Sorry, I haven't watched any of this.
No, me neither.
Some incredible cauliflower ears going on already.
Always a sign of a good wrestler.
Sorry, there is a motorbike driving past my house at the moment very loudly.
Biker Taker, your dream come true. He's coming to collect you, Sam. We've arranged this. We got online and we clubbed together, and here he is.
That's a cameo thing. You've paid him and he's going to come collect. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Can I bring my Limp Bizkit's music? Not.
You're going to be playing. You're going to be playing Limp Bizkit with him at the end. That's how we've arranged for this night to end.
Number 3, The Hurt Business, MVP's new stable. MVP Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin.
Really?
24/7 champion.
I couldn't give less of a shit about those wrestlers.
Oh, I disagree. I've got a soft spot for Shelton.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
But you can't disagree about how much shit I give.
We can, and
I
we
made
will.
Lana watch the clip of Shawn Michaels super kicking him out of the air the other day.
Shelton Benjamin, underrated madman.
Yeah, great.
I think we should clarify that John's wife is called Lana. This isn't Lana from WWE.
Yeah.
Who John forces to watch stuff. We didn't arrange a cameo or a special treat for John.
Number 2, Keith Lee, double champ.
Yes. How
All for that.
amazing was that match with Adam Cole, first off? And how great is it that he had his first defence of both belts against Dominik Dijakovic? And how incredible is Keith Lee just as a man? And how good does he look with 2 belts on his shoulders? And how long can he keep them for? There's just so many great questions.
When are you going to get me a cameo with Keith Lee so he can take me away?
I thought you were going to say, and when are you going to shut up?
We love Keith
Amazing.
Lee.
We love Keith Lee a lot.
Incredible.
And he's in my roster, guys. And
Is he? I thought he was in my roster.
I thought it was in mine. No, it definitely wasn't in mine. No, I had him last year.
No, I had him
Actually,
last year. Wait.
Whose roster is he in?
Keith Lee, member of Dynamite.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I was about to say, and I knew that as well, but I was about to say he's one of the only guys on my roster who hasn't been cancelled for whatever reason, and he's not even in my roster.
Right,
I take back everything good I said. Yeah, I think actually he's underperforming, and he's probably not going to score very well.
I'm glad that we've all been watching with him, all thinking he's in our roster. Number 1, Evil has turned heel, joined the Bullet Club, defeated Naito, and become W champ in New Japan.
I mean, what the frizzle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty mad when I heard you guys discussing that.
Yeah,
on our chat.
I just boo.
Yeah, biggest heel turn I think in a very long time.
Yeah, massive boo.
The match itself at Dominion, probably not the best match I've seen this year.
No, it wasn't.
Evil kind of was wearing Awesome Kong's ring gear for some reason and kept trying to get the hair out of his eyes.
It was so. My favourite moment of that match was Hiromu running out to help.
Yes,
It's like, yeah, Evil, you can bugger off. We still got Hiromu.
It's like Hiromu's 2 dads have just got divorced. It's mental.
Because he was wailing afterwards, wasn't he?
Yeah, Hiromu's great. And New Japan is great. Go watch New Japan, Adam. And that's 5 forever.
Yay, well done.
Okay. No response from me about New Japan. We'll save that. We'll save that for another podcast. Next week's podcast is what we're going to talk about now. It's going to be an hour of me talking about New Japan. Just me. That'd be weird, wouldn't it?
I would listen to that.
You're the only person who would.
Just you badly pronouncing everyone's name.
Hey,
that's borrowed from someone who couldn't say Kyrie earlier.
Yeah, God damn it. Exactly. I was trying to think of the name that you always get wrong. Oh, God, it's somebody in AEW. Who was it?
Oh, is it Jake Hager?
We'll add that one to the list. No, can't remember it. There were just too many, and none of them are coming to mind. Anyway, next week, I've referenced it. We're actually going to take a week off because we've done 4 or 5 in a row, and I'm the one who's really busy next week because Pod Bible, which is something I always forget to plug at the end, we've got a new magazine coming out on Sunday the 2nd of August, and got to get that all finalised, get the digital version sorted out, all this boring stuff you don't want to know about, but definitely go and check that out when it comes out on the 2nd. So we're going to have no podcast next week, and then we're going to be back with I think probably an undertaking episode.
The Undertaking. Oh, I can't do a pallbearer. Brett can do a pallbearer.
The Undertaking.
Oh man, that's good.
Amazingly good.
Fucking hell. Yeah, we should clip that and use it on those episodes. Anyway,
I've actually got Paul Bearer next to me. He did it.
Nice. That was the cameo that we sorted out for Brett. He got Paul Bearer
Back from
dug him up, and there he
Bit
is.
He's a
disrespectful, but
ghost.
it's fine.
He's a ghost. I don't need the dead remains.
Okay. Anyway, so do you think that's the future for Cameo? It is supposed to be just videos, and now do you think the future, when celebrities are so cash strapped, they'll actually agree to go around and stay at somebody's house?
That's the Dave Benson Phillips model, isn't it?
Oh yeah, he's probably doing that now.
Cream
I reckon.
tea.
So we've got Paul Bearer, Lana, and The Undertaker so far. Incredible. So The Undertaking in 2 weeks, and then after that, who knows? We've got an NXT takeover coming up towards the end of August. We've got SummerSlam, of course. Depressing that's going to be in front of no crowd, but there's plenty to be talking about. I'm sure there'll be some top fives thrown in as well, and we should probably talk about AEW at some point, because they've basically had 2 almost pay-per-views recently, and lots of excitement there as well. So perhaps we'll do an AEW special. Who knows? We can do what we like, and that's the beauty of podcasting. Thanks. That was my TED Talk. How do people get in touch, Brett, if people want to talk about stuff with us?
They can send their emails to hardestpartofthering@gmail.com, or get us on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. We are at hardestpartpod.
Thank you very much, Brett, for that. And Brett, I mean, I should say, and I've been wanting to say, and I meant to say it during the Mysterio-Seth Rollins match, but I mean, your artwork this week is fucking great.
Oh, so good.
And usually you send it to us after the pod when we're all editing and stuff, but this week we saw it early, so we're able to big it up. I know there are a lot of people who don't necessarily follow us on social media. They just download the pod, and that's absolutely fine, but I would encourage you go and have a look at Hardest Part Pod, as Brett said, because he's done some sweet art, and there's a hangy out eyeball involved.
It'll give the payoff that the match didn't.
Yeah.
It's really worth pointing out, though, that every episode has its own unique artwork, doesn't it?
Nearly.
Well, most of them do.
Nearly.
Yeah, I mean, the vast majority. It's a lot of work. But yeah, it's so good. So yeah, big shout out for you there.
By
Anyway,
a
that is it.
professional illustrator.
Yes, hire Brett. Brett, what's your website? Go on. Let's go really. I mean, you've literally never, ever given this info out.
I
There might
don't.
be some millionaires wanting to buy some art or hire an illustrator. Sell yourself.
Head along to eastworthingsfinest.co.uk and you can find my work, or I am EWF81 on Instagram and Twitter.
That's some good shit.
118 episodes and we've never given you that opportunity. Anyway, John, you're editing this bit. Cut that bit out, yeah?
Yeah, all done.
Perfect. Okay, so that is definitely finally it for the pod. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you very much for listening. And until we come back for The Undertaking, it is goodbye from me. It is goodbye from Sam.
My eye.
God, that was foreshadowing, wasn't it?
Love you, Terry.
Goodbye, John.
Bye.
And goodbye, Brett.
Goodbye.
That was the hardest part of the ring.
That is the hardest part of that ring.